on Facebook and YouTube, as well as Periscope to join. I'm going to move over a little bit so Jeremy can also be in here. Got Jeremy Tobin here, right-hand man. Jeremy's up from Hubbardston. So who do we got, Jen? We got people. I know it's a little bit late, but I thought it'd be good to do this before Minnesota. Gregory Wales. Hi, Gregory. Good to have you. I thought it'd be good to do this video before the night ended because we had a very big day today. We got Lambert from Singapore. And I wanted to really summarize what took place today, but really focus on the solution that we have. It's a very creative solution that integrates biology as well as legal theory to provide each of you a way that you can fight what's likely going to be forced vaccinations upon you and your family members, your children. And it's a very unique and innovative solution. I've spoken to some legal scholars about it, as well as from a scientific standpoint. So that's what I want to share with you. So let's just welcome other people as they're joining. We have Susan from Australia, California in the house. Great to have you. Illinois, Malaysia, people from everywhere. By the way, when some of you may know, we did a massive rally. We had a great showing at the Massachusetts State House. Chris Stevens from Massachusetts, great. And we then did a march, and you can see it on the Twitter feed. You can see it on Facebook. Jen's putting it on all media. And then we did a march from there down to the Kennedy building, the John F. Kennedy Federal Building, where we laid out a solution. We had some amazing speakers who shared their insights and thoughts. So it was a wonderful day. Texas, we have Jorge. Also, we got Arizona, Ohio. So you see people from all over the country. Have you seen this before?
I've seen
plenty of videos. Massachusetts, Renee. It's great to have you, Renee. So anyone listening, people should be telling all of your friends. If you're outside of the United States, please tell your friends about the fact that we have this amazing campaign for truth, freedom, and health taking place in Massachusetts. Those of you, if you're in the United States but outside of Massachusetts, also tell your friends and everyone in Massachusetts. Hey, Joanne, great to have you. Good evening. So I'm going to, just as I always do in every one of these calls, every one of these conversations, I always like to bring people up to date on our campaign. I'll summarize that very quickly. And then I'm going to give you the solution today and how we fight, each one of us individually as well as collectively, the impending forced vaccinations, which I think is going to be upon us. And so we're not, caught, with like a deer with its, was it headlights?
Deer in headlights.
Deer in the headlights, and then we don't know what to do. So I want to offer you that. But let me just quickly, for all of you people who are new, just share with you very briefly the fact that there is a very important Senate campaign that's going on in Massachusetts that's coming up, and everyone out there should be telling your friends about it. But let me go right to the website here. So if all of you go to the website, which is shivaforsenate.com, you will see that on that page, we have a whole bunch of resources that people can take advantage of. There's our platform, what we stand for, how you can become a volunteer. You can go right to About, you can get access to the platform. But one of the most important things that I always keep repeating because repetition is the mother of skill, is this campaign is about truth, freedom, and health. Truth, freedom, and health. Truth, freedom, and health. The center of this is freedom, which means the opportunity for us to debate without censorship, have open discourse, because from that kind of open discourse is how we can get to truth, by practicing real science, not fake science, not scientific consensus, but the scientific method. And from truth, we can discover real problems and real solutions for the health of our body, our infrastructure, our society, our communities. And with that real health, we have the strength to fight for freedom. And that is a systems approach, what I just shared with you, that these things are interconnected. You can't just be under a tree meditating all day, just worrying about your own health, nor can you just be a nerd doing some type of science, nor can you just be someone who just wants to protect your freedom. All these three things are connected. You have to be a scientist, you have to be someone who wants to be an activist for freedom, and you have to be someone who truly cares about your health, which is what all of us have the ability to do. But that's what truth, freedom, and health is about. And as you know, I'm deeply committed to helping everyone. So when people support our campaign, you're not just giving me money or our campaign money, but I want to teach you how the body is a system, how everything is a system, what has changed. So you can, those people who donate and support the campaign, whatever you can, will get access to System and Revolution, a very powerful book. You also can use the theory from this book to practice those principles in a laboratory setting, which is called Your Body, Your System. And this is for anyone within the United States. So take advantage of our campaign, support the campaign. Those of you who are calling from outside of the United States, you can also get access to this ebook as well as the tool by directly going to Your Body, Your System. Again, the goal of this is obviously you can experience health and well-being, but more importantly, the goal is for you to understand how systems work and how to take a systems approach to life and to solving problems. And this goes beyond left and right. Jeremy was at the event today. Jeremy was leading, if you go look with the megaphones, a whole rally. What did the back of your t-shirt say? Beyond left and right.
Yep.
And our slogan was beyond left or right, beyond black and white, truth, freedom, and health. Because if we take a left position or a right position, we're never going to find truth. And that's what the politicians want. The establishment of both parties doesn't ever want you to find the solution. Now, I'm running as a Republican because last year when I ran against Elizabeth Warren as a unenrolled independent, they didn't allow me access to the debate stage because these guys cheat. They're liars. They're frankly very insidious. They don't want authentic people like ourselves being on live TV exposing them. So we're running as a Republican. And by the way, if people remember, the Republican Party was started by blacks, okay? Everyday working people. And now it's been heisted by the liberal elite. So our election in Massachusetts is a historic one. So everyone's got to go out there, support the campaign in whatever way you can. Support it by either becoming a volunteer or supporting the campaign in whatever way you can monetarily, or both. And we have people all over the country supporting. It's an easy way for you to do it. You can also volunteer by clicking the volunteer button right here and becoming a volunteer. All right, so let me talk about what I just put out there. How do we stop forced vaccinations? And the conclusion I've come to is a biological and a legal conclusion. It goes beyond just, sort of an outrageous claim vaccination or forced vaccination is rape. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. So day before, I've been really thinking about why this entire fear mongering of the COVID virus, these people wearing masks all day, the shutdown of the restaurants, a lot of us have been not feeling right deep in our gut. A lot of us. And we don't know what is the problem, but we do know something is deeply, deeply wrong at a very primal level. And the big aha moment I had was yesterday when I was driving with Richard on our bus, and Richard said, this vaccination stuff, it seems like someone's raping me. And I said, it's interesting. And I sort of made a joke, it's interesting that Kennedys get away with rape, Some, they rape, they murder, they seem to get away, right? Somehow they get away. And then I said, wait a minute, it's a Kennedy Vaccination Act, 1962. And here's the interesting thing. A lot of people are so brainwashed by the Kennedys. You and I were just talking about this, right?
Yep.
People are like in this prison. And in fact, Jen, you and I were talking and people just, the Kennedys. Well, why? Why do we give these people, why do we bow down to them? Because they're almost caught in this matrix of the Kennedy bullshit celebrity. And they spend a lot of money building their brand, nice photographers, etc. But the key thing is there is something very deep here. And the depth here is, so I said, what is the definition of rape? Now, the Merriam-Webster dictionary, in fact, I can bring it up if you want. Let me bring it up here. Definition, if we go look at the definition of rape, Merriam-Webster, and you'll see something fascinating here. Let me bring it up so we can actually look at it. And here is the definition of rape according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, okay? Here's the definition. it says right here, the definition of rape is unlawful sexual activity and usually sexual intercourse carried out forcibly or under threat of injury against a person's will or with a person who's beneath a certain age or incapable of valid consent because of mental illness, mental deficiency, intoxication, unconsciousness, or deception. That's one definition. Another definition is an outrageous violation. It doesn't mean the first, but it just means someone outrageously violated you. And the third is an act or instance of robbing or despoiling or carrying away a person by force. So that's one definition of rape, or three definitions that are out there. And as I was looking at that, I also noticed something interesting as I was looking about that, is that I noticed that that every state had a particular different statute on how they looked at rape. Okay, which means there's a rape definition, for example, how rape is looked at in Massachusetts, okay, in the state of Massachusetts, or how on the statutes rape is considered, in Connecticut or California. And each one has a very, very different definition of rape in each of these states. But what I found that was interesting was this, and I'm going to share this with you. In the state of Massachusetts, on the statutorily, which means on the books, there's a very particular definition of rape. And this is what it is. And I just saw this come up on Google. It says, in Massachusetts, rape means the penetration of any bodily orifice by any part of the body or by an object performed against the victim's will without consent and with the threat of or actual use of force. Okay? This is the Massachusetts rape laws. Let me bring this up again. In Massachusetts, rape means the penetration of any bodily orifice by any part of the body or by an object performed against the victim's will without consent and with the threat or actual use of force. Okay? So that is the definition of rape, if people can see that. All right. Let me go back here. I don't know if that was seeable, but if you can see that, let me go back. All right. So that is what the definition of rape is. And the reason I wanted to share that is that as I was looking at that, now putting on my hat as an MIT PhD in biological engineering, the aha moment occurred here. Well, they were saying what? Using an object into an orifice against someone's will. Now, typically, we're going to see that in the rape case of a woman being attacked, or it could be a man, right? Where something's put into their orifices. And this is sort of a weird discussion, but typically the orifices are the mouth, the nose, the ears, the different parts of the sexual anatomy. However, what we do know from a biological standpoint is there are another set of orifices, around 5 million of them at least. The skin has nearly 5 million pores. Biologically, molecular biologically, those orifices, those pores are also orifices biologically. So you not only have the various large orifices, but you have 5 million, at least 5 million other orifices known as your pores. And when we're taking an object, that's what it says, right? When we're taking an object, as it says by the laws here, in rape, Massachusetts means the penetration of any bodily orifice, 5 million pores, orifices, by any part of the body or by an object. Everyone see where I'm going with this? So this was a big aha. The aha here is that vaccinating you, putting that needle into one of your orifices, which could be one of your skin pores, because it's definitely going to go through them, right? It's hard to avoid them. That is rape. So what we're talking about here is rape. And I find it amazing that all these people who've been fighting this never brought this up. A lot of lawyers.
Rapist.
And you're going to hear it right here for the first time. Now, in Australia, someone did an ad saying vaccination is rape, but they weren't talking about this. They were talking about like the outrageous action, not biologically. So they can't take credit for this. I have to take credit for this. Why? And it's important that we credit is given in this analysis, because for far too long, we've had misleaders control this movement. And all they've been doing is filing lawsuits here, filing lawsuits, settling out of court, taking money. They don't want to win. They don't want to empower you. But the definition I've come across with, by integrating biological systems, microbiology, biology, and legal, statutorily and biologically, is a way now to empower us. There is a law, many laws on the books, that no one can threaten you of rape. If someone says, look, I'm going to rape you, but if you do this, this, and this, I'm not going to rape you, okay? That's called rape threat. That's called someone is harassing you or going to abuse you. Well, you know what? If someone is threatening you with such harm, you have the right to go to your local police station and file a complaint to get a restraining order or an abuse prevention order. Let me repeat that. If someone is threatening you with assault, which is what rape is, and it's a threat, that's what it says, which means, for example, if you have a son or daughter and the school is saying, well, unless you get raped, which is, I'm going to stick an object into one of your orifices, and if you don't allow me to rape you, you're going to be kicked out of school. That's a threat. You have every right to protect you or your child, to go to the local police station and file an abuse prevention order. Now, come back to Shiva for Senate tomorrow, very soon. We'll tell you what the issues are, and I'm preparing the first lawsuit on this. But independent of the lawsuit I do, I'm giving everyone listening, the millions of you, the hundreds of thousands of you, you got to get this out here. This is my solution. Start filing in your local police station a complaint. Walk in there and say, in Massachusetts or Boston, for example, we're going to file, we're telling people to file it against the governor, against the Speaker of the House, against the Senate President, as well as the public health, whoever runs public health. Those four people, they're the defendants. You're the plaintiff. Go to your police station and say, I am under a rape threat by this individual, and the rape and the definition of rape is very clear. Now it'll go to court. They'll call you in to issue the restraining order. And this is going to be an onus on the judges. If you want to bring me as an expert witness, I'm there. But the bottom line is you have 5 million pores on your body. Those pores, scientifically and biologically, are orifices. They have no right to stick an object into your orifice without your consent. Now, those people want to consent to be vaccinated. Great. That's consensual. That's consensual. You can do that. But if it's non-consensual, that is rape. Does everyone understand? So we have figured out something that only a non-lawyer can figure out, okay? Lawyers have known this. They've done nothing. Maybe some of them are fine with rape. Kennedys have gotten away with rape. They have. They get away with it. The Kennedy Vaccination Act must be repealed. The 1962 Vaccination Act. I think someone wrote to you and they said, oh, you mean the 1986 Act? No, we're talking about the 1962 Act with John Kennedy signed. John Kennedy's Vaccination Act. 1986, Ted Kennedy, big guy who liked to drink a lot, right? Did all sorts of stuff. You can go look at his history. He's the one who protected that rape act. I'm sorry, that Vaccination Act of 1962. Should probably call it the Kennedy Rape Act. What do you think? Right? Seriously.
We gotta edit it.
We got to edit it. What?
Edit it.
Yeah. But I think I figured out a solution. So everyone listening out there, if someone is forcing you to be vaccinated, that is equivalent to rape. And this is not to minimize the rape. This is essentially to say, in the modern world, this has been going on for centuries, right? The oppressors go brand people, right? Put them in chains. They prod them. They get them to do work for them, the slaves. And in the modern world, this is a sophisticated form of prodding people, raping them. The conquerors would go rape and pillage women and men, probably. And what we're seeing here, this is a modern way of enslaving people. So I believe I've come across something that we should all utilize. Come back to Shiva for Senate, take action. And I'm going to give more information. But right now you have a tool. You have a legal tool and a biological tool. When you put them together, you find out that forced vaccination is rape. That's what it is. Jen, let's take some questions. But that's what I wanted to share with you. Does everyone get this? Okay, great. You got them with their word games. This is great. Exactly. Remember, exactly, Anthony. We figured it out. I'm in Massachusetts. I'm in. Hey, Jackie, how are you? We have to fight back if anyone forces you, or you're a healthcare worker, or you're working and they tell you that you must be vaccinated. I'm telling you, go to the police and immediately complain of rape threat. It would be great to have a list of attorneys in each state that would support this thought process and help us defend us. Steph Ruiz, so I've spoken to several attorneys, and first of all, they said, wow, I wish I had thought about that. They said that's quite innovative and it makes sense. If these vaccine makers were able to be sued, then you will see them drop out of vaccine production. Look, what's going on is you have a lot of charlatans who've been leading the quote unquote anti-vax movement. They want to create safe vaccines, AKA Robert Kennedy, okay? And people like that essentially want a government position and want to regulate it. And that's what the Kennedys do. The Kennedys have a history of vaccinating 4 generations, or from John Kennedy, the Vaccination Rape Act. I'm going to call it the Rape Act, okay? 1962 Rape Act. Ted Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, a complete manipulator, and Joe Kennedy, his nephew, who wants to do mandated vaccines. Why is the Center of Disease calling and asking if there are any children ages 1 to 4 who are not is this legal? No, it's illegal. Fight it. That means they want to come. I hate to say it. They want to figure out how they could force vaccinate, rape your kids. That's what they're talking about. We got to use that word. We got to expand it beyond, because the science says sticking an object into an orifice, 5 million pores in your kids, it's rape, it's rape, it's rape. We got to stop it. It's a crime. And the threat of it is also a crime. But you as parents need to start defending your kids. Use the approach I'm telling you. Test the legal waters. We all do it. The judges are not going to know what the hell to do. They won't know what to do. Even if they dismiss it, we now have a whole new angle to approach this. Washington is talking about the National Guard coming to your door. If we're sick with COVID, I feel next is them coming to our door to force vaccines. What then? No time to file complaint. Do it now, because it's a threat. That is a threat. You see what I'm saying, Jeremy? That is a threat. If they're talking about it, just step back and think about it. Suppose some individual in your neighborhood said, I'm going to come to your house and I'm going to rape you. And if you don't allow me to rape you, right, I'm going to do this, this, and this to you. I'm going to lock you in your home. I'm not going to let you get out. That's a rape threat. Forced vaccination is a rape threat. That's what it is. Forced vaccination is rape. Apply this definition. Robert Kennedy's broke away from me. He has been ostracized for it. No, that's not true. Robert Kennedy's not one of the good guys, Linda. He's one of the scumbag guys. And it's unfortunate you think he's one of the good guys. That's what he wants you to think. And since you're bringing that up, Linda, let me just play for you because I think this is important. So you break from your illusion of thinking this fellow is not a scumbag, okay? Because that's what he is. I'm going to play for you right now what this fellow said so we can all break from our illusion. It's time we break from a big sleep that the Kennedys have put us into. This is, in his own words, this one on April 13th, 2019. Okay, here it is. Listen very carefully.
Minister Farrakhan has asked me to address the issue of vaccines and African-American vaccine safety. I want to start out by saying this, and I want to say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. I say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. Emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. Emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. Say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. Want to say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. Say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. Want to say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. And I want to say it emphatically. I am pro-vaccine. I have always been fiercely pro-vaccine. I had all 6 of my children vaccinated, and I believe that we ought to have policies that encourage full vaccination for all Americans. Ought to have policies that encourage full vaccination for all Americans. That we ought to have policies that encourage full vaccination for. I believe that we ought to have policies that encourage full vaccination for all Americans.
All right, so there you go. So anyone who doesn't believe the Kennedys are for full vaccination for all Americans. Now the fool, after I exposed him, is out there saying, I don't believe in mandated vaccines. Yeah, you do. You just said it in April 2019, Robbie. You just said it. And when the darky called you out, you got to run around convincing all your other people who follow you blindly that you're not. And you actually start taking my material. The Truth Show, suddenly. Truth, freedom, and health. That's right. Steal from the darky.
Trying to hijack the movement.
Hijack the movement. That's what the Kennedys do.
They couldn't come up with anything
Right.
creative.
So Linda, he's one of the good guys. So this is one of the unfortunate people who gets fooled by him. No, he's not ostracized. It's part of their shtick, Linda. Wake up. Don't be stupid. Okay? I'm sorry to be so harsh, but I don't have time to waste. I got a lot of other things that I have opportunities to do, but I've decided to do this. Jeremy has a lot of things. The people who protested today are working people. We're not Kennedys who have trust funds, who have their little Hyannisport complex and bullshit people. Exposed Kennedys full of shit. It's not what people say, it's what they do. And what he has done is he endorsed Hillary Clinton, vaccine queen. So wake the hell up, you guys. Wake the hell up. Stop bowing down to Camelot. That's a matrix. It's a construct to screw with your brain. Okay? Wake up or get out of the way. Let us do the job. But Robert Kennedy is pro-vaccine, pro-vaccine, pro-vaccine. And now he's running around trying to hide himself from that. Okay? But the Forced Vaccination Act, which is what the 1962 Act, it should really be called the Rape Act. And remember, the Kennedys have a huge history of drug abuse, right? Robert Kennedy was a heroin addict. I mean, come on. You don't change that much. You know, it's you know, if you're into drugs, you're into drugs. If you're into raping and getting away with stuff, you're into that kind of stuff. So that's why they haven't gone at this hard. You got to understand the Kennedy family, from John Kennedy to Ted Kennedy to Robert Kennedy to the foolish little 39-year-old $51 million trust fund kid is into the same thing. 1962 Vaccination Act must disappear. What's this?
I was trying to get it moving.
Okay. We have some other things coming in. But I hope you realize, and he is for vaccine. Now you're going to pull, what is this? You are full of, no, he is not. No, he is, I can't understand that. Anyway, I hope this is clear. The forced vaccines is rape. Is rape legally, statutorily, biologically. And that's what you're going to hear from me over. That's the aha that we figured out. That's the linchpin that we need to move hard. Everyone, if you feel under threat by this, go to your police station. You can go to your magistrate district court. Many ways you can do it, but we must file rape threat charges against. So if you're in a state, find out who the governor is, find out who the Speaker of the House is, who's supporting these laws, find out who the President Senate is, the Director of Public Health. That's who you go after. What about all the parents whose kids can't attend school without vaccines? Well, that's saying, what about all the parents whose kids can't attend school without being raped? Just replace the word. If you feel there's a forced vaccine, forced vaccination is rape. I'm not talking about, consensual vaccination. If you're fine, I'm talking about if you feel that it's forced vaccination, that's rape. Megan, file charges, go to your police station. This is, and let us push this on the courts. This is a whole new area of law. They're going to have to argue, is a pore an orifice or not? Biologically, it is an orifice, and you're forcing an object into it, which is rape. I'm sure the similar rape statutes are in your state. Thank you, Holy Cats. Who else do we have? Kennedy is Illuminati. He's also with the Vanderbilt group. Did you know that? I didn't know that. Interesting. Yes, Robert F. Kennedy is making people aware of why? Because he wants to do safe vaccines. There is no safe vaccines. Safe vaccines for one person is not safe for another. The body's too complex of a. So this person here again is fooled.
Is that safe rape?
Yeah, that's basically saying, is there anything like safe rape? There's no safe rape because everyone's body is different. Some people may consent to it, others may not. Okay, and Angel, you got to wake up. Okay, he's not making people aware of anything. He endorsed Hillary Clinton. That's action. Look at his actions. 3 times she got $100 million from Bill Gates, pro-vaccine. Pro-vaccine. Okay? Let go of the Kennedys. Please let go. It's a drug you're on. Get off the addiction. Wouldn't you say it's a drug?
It's an illusion for sure.
It's an illusion. Okay? Get off the drugs. Get off the Kennedys. Let them go. You'll have some withdrawal, but you'll get over it. You may sweat a little bit, may be hard. Get off the Kennedys. All right? Yeah, you got to get off of them. They're dangerous. What have they done for America? Name one thing. Can someone tell me what the Kennedys have ever done for working people? Name one thing. Can anyone tell me one thing except taking nice black and white pictures, looking out, right? Speeches that they give, they didn't even write. Stealing ideas like from people like me. Can someone tell me one thing the Kennedys have done? One thing. I don't see anything. Okay. They lobotomize their own. That's true. All right. JFK made debt-free money. All right. Yep. Okay. I hope this is clear. And so anyway, I want to Watertown, Mass. Awesome. We're getting so whatever you guys are doing from outside of the country and outside of Massachusetts, we got a lot more Massachusetts people coming in. Today we had 100+ people show up on a COVID time. State House, great march. You can see it. A lot of great speakers, a lot of people of color showed up, you know, to all these other vaccine rallies the Kennedys are on. I haven't seen a lot of dark faces, maybe 1 out of 1,000 people. We had a lot of people speaking and participating because our movement is different than that little elite movement that they've been running. Our movement is bringing in a lot of people because we're going at the real issue, which is forced vaccination is rape. And we got to eliminate the entire 1962 Vaccination Act. We got to go to the Kennedys are pure evil. They are evil. They're part of the matrix. And when you break that matrix, you're going to get freedom. The more you excuse them, you're stuck in that matrix and you're going to be in your own cage. Southborough, Mass. Great to hear from you, Sheila. What else? Kennedys are canceled. Yep. And by the way, that's right. Someone just wrote here. Someone said, you are dumb. There are no safe vaccines. Look, you're looking at someone who studies the immune system. I've been doing this for a long time. Robert Kennedy studies whatever he studies. He had affairs with 40 different women when he was married. I think that's what he studies. Okay, how to have affairs. I study the immune system. I do biological research. And what that shows us is that the body is a complex system. You cannot figure out a standard formula for one person to apply to everyone else. So when someone says they're going to figure out safe vaccines, do you understand that's an oxymoron? Because what you're trying, what is that?
Somebody said which Kennedys?
What do you mean?
All of the Kennedys.
Yeah, you can't, because safe for one person may not be safe for another person. This is why we need health sovereignty the medical solutions need to be between your doctor and you to figure out what's right for yourself. You should find the right doctor. We had a great woman who spoke today, a surgeon who came in from Maine, and she said, I work with my patients. I give them an answer, then I listen to them. Then we both decide what's right. It's not one way. That's really called narrative medicine, where you both come together, the doctor and the patient, and health emerges from the relationship, not one person telling them to do something. That's right. No forced vaccines. Forced vaccines is rape. Forced vaccines is rape. And that's what you heard from me. And you won't hear that from the Kennedys, because the Kennedys have gotten away with rape. Right. Someone says, my body, my choice. It's more forced vaccine is rape. That's true, but it's even worse than that. Yeah, I think this is very interesting. John Kennedy's, I don't know if you know this, Jeremy, John Kennedy's diary just came out recently, a couple of years ago. And in the diary, he had great praise for Hitler. I'm being serious.
Hell of a guy.
Hell of a guy. Yeah, John Kennedy thought Hitler would go down as a legend. And he said how the Germanic people were so much better than the Latinos, the Hispanic people. All right? So let's break away from this Camelot nonsense, okay? Camelot. I'm sorry. These people weren't qualified to be knights. They were not qualified. This is a created PR machinery that they created. Go read in his diary. He thought he was very intrigued by Hitler. He said he would go down as a great legend. That's John Kennedy. All right. Sorry. I'm sorry. I used to have Kennedy pictures in my house. Okay. When I growing up, right? Great PR. They're very good at that. Yep. Vaccines are made of attenuated dead viruses. How can they develop aborted baby parts in our vaccines? Pure witchcraft. Look, the bottom line that we're not talking about is a way that we really support our health. This is the truth about it when you study science, is we have to boost the immune system. And no one talks about it. We have to boost the immune system. We have to build community. We have friendships. We have love around us. That builds antimicrobials. We lower inflammation, vitamin D, vitamin A, zinc, iodine. As I've talked about, we got to boost immunity. Mother on the verge. Brockton, Mass. Great to have you. Dominic Ritchie. Hey, Dominic, how are you? Great to have you. So in closing, what I want to say is today we made a very big shift in the universe of this discussion of medical freedom. We're breaking away from the Kennedy nonsense. We're breaking away from the infiltrators in this movement who are asking us to go beg to state legislators who are all corrupt. We're breaking away to a real movement for truth, freedom, and health. We go to the source of the problem, the 1962 Kennedy Rape Act or Vaccination Act. You can flip the words because they basically were about mandated vaccines. We're breaking away from Ted Kennedy. We're breaking away from Robert Kennedy, where we're choosing to blaze our own destiny by saying we will not allow forced vaccinations, which is rape. And we as individuals and collectively will stand up for that for our children and ourselves. That's a pledge everyone needs to make. I've given you a very powerful wedge, a tool to go do that. Do not take this lightly. We need to all collectively do this. Come back to our website. I'm going to give you more tools on how to go do this, but we have a draft of a lawsuit we'll be filing. But independent of that, each one of you should exercise this with your local police. Test the legal system. Test it. It's new ground, but that's what we are. We're innovators and we blaze our own paths. And again, in closing, I want to let everyone know, thank you so much, because it looks like all of your efforts, we have people across the world who are starting to tell their friends in Massachusetts to come support us. We have about 70 days till the primaries on September 1. So if you tell your friends in Massachusetts, make sure they register as a Republican, or if they don't like the Republican Party, which I can understand, tell them to register as no party or unenrolled, because then they can go and get their Republican ballot and vote for us. Everyone should be doing that. If you're in Massachusetts, September 1, 2020 is when we're going to make history. We win the Republican primary, we're going to win the whole thing. So get out there and vote. Tell your friends. And again, please do not forget that the website that you can go and get all the information that you need is shivaforsenate.com. shivaforsenate.com. Please take advantage of the site and go in there and donate to the campaign, whatever you can afford. Get access to the System and Revolution book. Take advantage of the tool, Your Body, Your System. This is for people in the United States. For those people outside of the United States, go right to Your Body, Your System. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Let me just see if there's any other questions. Yep, someone just said this. Catherine Vitali, if you live in Massachusetts, shivaforsenate.com/vote. Pledge your vote to Dr. Shiva. Volunteer, join the Bottoms Up movement for truth, freedom, and health. If you don't live in Massachusetts, share this and spread the word. Thank you, Catherine. Catherine's an amazing volunteer. She's got 2 beautiful kids. They've been out there on the ground campaigning. That's what we need to do. Bottoms up, get your lawn signs, get bumper stickers. We're going to win this on the ground, on the ground, on the ground. Okay? And we have Jackie here. Thank you, Jackie. Okay, everyone, be the light. Anyway, Jeremy has got a long ride back. Jeremy's one of our volunteers. Jeremy's a jack of all trades. He's a farmer out in Hubbardston, right? Hubbardston, Massachusetts. He's an IT guy. He's a brilliant guy. He does many things. And this is the kind of people that attract our campaign. Everyday people, bottoms up. We got 70 days. Let's win this campaign for truth, freedom, and health. Thank you, everyone. Be well, be the light. I'll speak to you tomorrow. You got to say anything, Jeremy?
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.